For astute collectors, the shopping season for a Rolex is now. Do you recall the holiday season of 2021? Well, pre-owned watch dealers certainly do. Holiday shoppers were out in force because people saved money by not going out to eat or on vacation. Due to the product shortage, clients had to go through their meetings with salespeople considerably more quickly, and some even needed to remember to ask about costs. Fans of fine watches know that in January 2022, the pandemic-fueled craze for Rolexes, Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet reached its zenith. However, in the 18 months after the market's meteoric rise, the industry has been hit with a dose of reality. Nothing lasts forever, and that's why it's the perfect time to buy a Rolex. But let's discuss more, From Wall Street bankers and software moguls to Hollywood A-listers and professional sports, luxury watches have traditionally been worn as status symbols by wealthy and famous people. Alas, a fact too well known. Warren Buffett, famously known as the Sage of Omaha, favors a gold Rolex day-date watch that retails for nearly $17,000. On the John Wick Chapter 4 set, star Keanu Reeves showed his appreciation to the stunt performers who assisted him by giving each of them a one-of-a-kind Rolex Submariner valued at more than $10,000. NBA star LeBron James owns a sizable watch collection that includes pieces made by Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet and other prestigious brands. But what's happening in the market today? And that's what you want to know, right? Great. According to the Bloomberg Subdial Watch Index, the price of high-end Swiss watches such as Rolex, Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet is currently at a level close to its lowest point in the last 2 years on the secondary market. After reaching historic highs in early 2022 during the pandemic purchasing spree, the index that measures the 50 most traded pre-owned luxury watches by average price has decreased roughly 18% in the previous 12 months and 11% in the past 24 months. That follows the index's drop of record highs in early 2022 during the pandemic spending spree. What's more, according to data provided by Subdial, the price of the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Jumbo Ultra Thin model has dropped by 49% for the preceding 17 months. Used versions, which back in February 2022 were worth a total of $138,000, can now be obtained for less than $70,000 each. Wild! The demand for luxury watches has experienced a significant fall in recent years due to several factors, including rising interest rates and a general slowdown in consumer spending on discretionary goods such as electronics, furniture, and apparel. Some luxury watches in the mid-range price range, such as those made by Omega and Cartier, outperform their high-end Swiss counterparts in price appreciation. This trend may be related to consumers more interested in saving money. Bloomberg reports that many consumers are on the hunt for rare, undervalued timepieces and in some cases, smaller-sized watches. When Jeff Bezos launched his rocket into space in 2021, he was seen wearing a limited edition Omega Speedmaster moonwatch, which generally sells for somewhere in the neighborhood of $7,000. Bloomberg's story that Omega had raised pricing by 8% in the United States, 2% in Switzerland, and 2% in China earlier in July cited a report by an analyst at Morgan Stanley who stated that Omega had hiked prices. So suffice to say that the bubble has burst. When central banks like the Federal Reserve use a strategy known as quantitative easing to lower interest rates and try to boost consumer spending with easy money, they unintentionally contribute to the formation of a bubble in the financial market. The worldwide housing bubble between 2020 and 2022 was fueled by inexpensive loans and the prevalent interest rates at the time, both of which encouraged investors to take on greater risk. During the height of the pandemic, some of the ultra-wealthy indulged in extravagant spending, shelling out as much as $31.8 million for the bones of a T-Rex and as little as $1.9 million on a racing pigeon. Speechless, folks. Those figures rendered us speechless. There was a significant increase in the value of luxury items such as jewelry, handbags, and watches, in addition to a resurgence in the interest in collecting old trading cards and other collectibles. Take, for example, the Nautilus Travel Time watch made by Patek Philippe. According to the data provided measured by Subdial Index, the average cost of a used automobile in March 2022 was $272,000. The current price of $126,000 is far lower than what it was at the height of the pandemic. As a result of the falling demand in luxury items, Swiss watchmakers are confronted with a typical supply and demand problem. There is an excess of watches on the market, but there need to be more buyers to purchase them. In an interview with Bloomberg in April, the president of Patek Philippe, Thierry Stern, stated, "I see in the past 2 months the market is a little bit slower than before. I don't say it's very bad, not at all, but I just see that it's slowing down." He added. On the other hand, the most recent declines point to a plateau being reached. Compared to where they were 3 years ago, prices on the secondary market continued to trade at a premium. According to watch charts, the price of a luxury watch has climbed by 20% on average since August 2020. The price of a Rolex has increased by 26%, a Patek Philippe has increased by 94%, and an Audemars Piguet has increased by 100%. For example, the original cost of the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona 116500 model was approximately $15,000, but it is currently being advertised for approximately $29,000. This model is one of the watches with the heaviest total weight on the Watch Charts index. Watch Charts reports that the price of a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711 stainless steel model has increased to an average of $103,357 since it was first offered at $34,890. That represents a threefold increase from the initial price. Even if there were landings in 2023, we can see the prices have on average stayed much higher than before the outbreak. This is the case even though there have been landings in 2023. The managing partner at Boston Consulting Group, Pierre Dupriel, disagrees with the statement that a bubble has burst. As the economy begins to improve, we believe prices will either return to their previous levels or start to soar again. The reduced prices appeal to a broader demographic of customers and collectors. What do we mean? Luxury watches and other status symbols are seeing a surge in interest among Generation Z and millennials. According to a recent study conducted by BCG, more than half, 54% to be exact, of millennial and Gen Z customers reported having increased their expenditure on luxury watches over the preceding 2 years. Brian Burns, a millennial adventure leader and owner of a Rolex Submariner, said, "I would love to buy another Rolex. Seeing the price of them fall makes it less like a risky investment. You don't want to pay more for something if you could just wait and pay less." Chan Hurunsri, a 20-year-old student at Penn State, says he admires the artistry of watches and said, "Personally, I really appreciate the craftsmanship of watches. I bought a Grand Seiko SBG A407 in May when the prices were relatively low, and I'm waiting to explore Rolex." Are you like Chan? It's an excellent time to explore.